news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
No, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Jalen Walker. Touchdown. Spike. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Good morning, everybody. X's and Bros. Friday morning, October 20th. Brian LP here. And I think Anthony wanted juice. It's been served. Rivalry week is here. It's going. So a lot of news yesterday. First, I mean, Ryan Oakey here. Anthony Bellino joined in just a second, and and Ben Glaze back in our Grand Rapids studios. Welcome in. And a lot of Twitter was really fun yesterday for lots of reasons. Because yesterday for the rivalry week, it just kind of started out in the fun manner because Michigan State fans were losing their minds over, tracking flights and Urban Meyer is in East Lansing interviewing for the job, and then rivalry week took a turn when it was announced that Michigan is under investigation again for Spygate, or what most people would call scouting. But
Spygate.
Play roles. Spygate.
Is that what you're going with? Spygate?
No, that's the level I think it is at, of like Spygate NCAA style is scouting.
That's well said. RG3 said, I forget what the exact quote was, but RG3 was like, "So wait a minute, you're telling me they're getting in trouble for what now? Are you gonna go after everybody?" It was a what a tumultuous day it was yesterday. Ryan, when you sent me that message, I couldn't help but laugh. I honestly couldn't. Before I even read the article, I'm like, tell me that they weren't trying to steal signs from Bowling Green.
But my thing is, I want this story to be that there is some super fans that attend all like future opponent games for Michigan, and they DM U of M coaches terrible videos of coaches doing the signs on the sideline, like really grainy, awful video. And they're just hitting up every U of M coach on Twitter and Instagram, like, see, on this play, they ran it right up the middle.
Yeah, I am.
I want that.
That's
what I want the scandal to be.
I have an article here that I'm going to use at 6:35 for this exact story. But the opening line of the article, I'm going to read verbatim from the article because the opening line is too good not to. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much juice here not to do this. I am interested to see how it plays out. That much is for certain, and what the national narrative might be surrounding Jim Harbaugh, surrounding the Wolverines, and what that I don't know, what's the right way to put this? How will people laugh at it? Or
is that how you want to put it?
What's up?
Caught cheating again? Is that how you want to put it?
Yeah, so that's what I want to know. I want to know if people are like, this is ridiculous, or if people are really actually mad at that.
Hey, it's one of the things. It's like, well, we had the suspension earlier this season for Harbaugh, which again, you feel like, all right, that seemed like a little overblown. And then there's this, Scoutgate, recruiting gate. I'm tired of naming gate. No, it's like sending scouts to opponents. It's like, okay, at what point, it's like these are very little things, but the little things add up. And when is just enough? Like, do you really need to do all this?
Never. Nothing is ever enough. We need more. That's what we need. And I know there's a certain group of people that are not going to let this go. They're going to hold on to this.
To be fair, Michigan fan, how long did you hold on to the tattoo thing at Ohio State? Fans coming back at you.
Me personally,
not you personally, you Michigan fans.
Yeah, I always wondered about that too. Like when you talk about exchanging gear for tattoos, it really seemed like a pretty good trade, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because remember, Jim Tressel got fired for that.
Thank God, because he was that man was a terror all by himself. That's about all we had.
Like, if you look at what 20 years has done to the sport. to where Jim Tressel is fired for his players trading, memorabilia for tattoos.
And to now where you just have open brown bag passing going on in the NCAA.
Right. Like if this was 20 years ago, Harbaugh wouldn't have survived this scandal at Michigan. If this was 20 years ago.
You think Spygate or the first one?
Either one, and it's not that either were serious enough, but it's more of how people viewed the NCAA and college football. People have lightened up a lot about how they, about taking the NCAA seriously. But if you had recruiting violations and you're spying on people and stealing signs, like you ruin the sanctity of the sport, please leave the country.
And you have players with guns, and you have staffers with racist tweets from 20 years ago. Like, oh, man. And you had the email thing. The computer crime, the email thing. Yep.
So
it's all adding up.
Like if this is 2003, Harbaugh would have been gone by now.
Man, what a day. What a day. I really couldn't even believe that when you sent it to me. I'm like, what is this now? What in the hell is that? What are you guys going to make me talk about on a Friday morning on the show? That's the first thing I thought. I was like, really?
Listen, mister, I need juice to the rivalry. It's pretty dead this week.
This isn't going to juice it? Like, what? Okay, maybe if they would have found
Twitter yesterday?
Not a lot of it, to be honest with you.
People woke up. People got their juice box, and they were sitting at their computer and on their phone.
They were aware? They were aware of what's taking place this weekend?
Finally.
Well, I'm actually kind of glad that I didn't spend a whole lot of time on Twitter yesterday. I did see my dad had tweeted about a Jeopardy question that was in regards to Jason Candle, the head coach at the University of Toledo. So I thought that was good. But outside of that, didn't do a whole lot of scrolling, which appears it turns out for a good thing.
Because a lot of it is, Michigan fans trying to sweep it all under the rug of this is nothing. State fans just poking fun, and a lot of it is like, you're really going to try to steal Michigan State signs? Like, I don't think we have any.
Does our offense have signs? If so, could you let our players know what they are? Could you send those signs to them?
Yeah, our signs are run, pass, and then turnover.
It's going to get better. It is going to get better. All right, here's the deal. So we're gonna step aside. We're gonna hop into MLB's games from last night, and then we'll jump into the Michigan investigation next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for Pumpkin Coin Toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
If you or your family is touched by autism, Learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
From Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, you're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. We also remind you, folks, that Tullymore Golf Resort is the place to be before the golf season officially comes to a close. What you need to do is visit TullymoreGolf.com, TullymoreGolf.com, or call Matt Golden personally at 1-800-972-4837. That's 1-800-972-4837. Tullymore not only offers two great championship courses, but is also conveniently located smack dab in the middle state and features everything else you're going to need right there actually on the grounds. So top-of-the-line golf, top-of-the-line accommodations, the perfect space for your wedding event, reception, or group outing. It's all right there. Just visit TullymoreGolf.com. Welcome back here to X's and Bros. And going to hop into the baseball conversation. MLB from last night. Houston going on the road to tie their series up. Arizona going back home to give their series a little bit of life. In my, oh my, how the momentum can swing in the game of baseball. That's all it took. It just took two quick 3-hour games. And now all of a sudden, everybody's relooking at these two series. Most, for certain, that Philadelphia Phillies series. Because it felt like, okay, there was no way they were going to lose the game. After the 10-0 barrage, there was nothing that Arizona was going to be able to do. That was going to be the entire series. It was going to be over in 4 games. Pack a lunch and get ready for the World Series. Not so fast, my friends. Diamondbacks get their first win. They're at home. They have 2 more at home. So this is good. If you are a Diamondbacks fan, which I can't imagine that too many people are here, but that's okay. We'll give them a little love on the show. But it did take a Marte walk-off for the D-backs to get back into the series. All you had to do was win, though. It didn't matter how you did it. It didn't matter how long your starter went. It didn't matter. Nothing of like the regular baseball conversation matters when you get into the playoffs. It honestly doesn't. You could have your starter give up 7 runs over 5 innings. As long as you scored 8, doesn't matter. Like there's nothing that really, for regular season to postseason, guys that carry it on to the postseason and continue to build on a great regular season, fantastic. We had Arizona's starting pitcher was 25 years old. 25 years old. And at one point in the ball game yesterday, my man was out there just wheeling and dealing. And there was nothing anybody was going to do about it. He just had really good stuff. Like that is exactly what it is. It's just good stuff. And their starter who turned 25 years of age just 4 days ago, Brandon, is it Fott, I want to say? TV was on mute, so I couldn't see it. I couldn't hear it. I could only see it. He struck out 6 of his first 10 Phillies batters, including Kyle Schwarber, not once but twice. And this is how the whole thing ended.
Kimbrel deals an 0-1. That's into center field. It's down. In to score is Smith. And the Diamondbacks walk off the Phillies in Game 3. Ketel Marte takes a victory lap.
Now, Ketel Marte can bring he can have a victory lap. That's totally fine. But can we give Brian Anderson a victory lap as well? And I'm so glad. I'm so glad John Morosi was tweeting about this last night because my man has been on fire the entire postseason doing play-by-play. Like, he's been sensational. Sensational. So I just want to make sure that he gets his credit as well because it's not an easy sport to call. It really isn't. And when you have a when you have that kind of quality play-by-play there on that level too, like that's the part that's really great. So shout out to Brian Anderson, who's just doing a sensational job on the call there for TBS. And you have the Diamondbacks with life. Diamondbacks have a pulse. From an MLB standpoint, by the way, the League Championship Series are producing regularly, pretty solid ratings after seeing a little bit of a decline in the first two rounds. According to Nielsen ratings, the LCS in both English and Spanish on the broadcast end for the first two games are averaging about 5.2 million viewers, which is roughly even with last year. The LCS ratings are, holding steady despite not having a team from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, right? They missed out on some of those major markets, but you do get two Texas teams, Philly, and let's not act like, the Arizona Diamondbacks, a.k.a. Phoenix. Let's not act like that's not a jumbo-sized market. It just so happens that Phoenix is such an import town. Who's really a native from Phoenix? Just a lot of imports. Ton of Midwesterners, ton of East Coasters, ton of West Coasters, right? Folks that were, in California but wanted to get somewhere a little bit different, a little bit slower. People from the Midwest that wanted to get a little bit faster. Right? That's that's Phoenix, but I don't want to act like, it's not New York or Chicago or LA. It's like, okay, all right, just Phoenix, no big deal. It's just one of the fastest growing states in the country. Florida, Texas, Arizona. What do they all have in common? Good weather, and they're Republican. The LCS ratings are, holding steady there. And the teams with the 5 best regular season records aren't even involved. So that might play a little bit of a role in this as well, where you've had teams that have done extremely well throughout the course of the season, and they have built that sort of draw, if you will, from a local standpoint where everybody's all in, and then the playoffs happened and the bottom fell out, and the AL East was terrible, and I forget what Ryan's stat was. The best 5 teams were, 1-12 or something like that in the playoffs. Like, that wasn't going to do it. Like, it's just going to be tough for them to carry on and kind of build that juice, especially if you were a Dodgers fan. Like, are you going to tune in and watch anything else? You know what I mean? Or are you going to punt on all of it because you can't stand to see it? And sure, there'll be some fans that'll be like, yeah, no, I'm glued to the TV because these are my, this is my sport. And although my team lost, like, I still want to be able to watch. Now, Texas's 2-0 victory over Houston in Game 1 of the ALCS averaged about 7.25 million viewers on Fox Deportes, and streaming combined. That was the most viewed opening game of the ALCS since 2010 when the Rangers faced the Yankees and averaged 8.11 million. So it basically feels like this is just about NBA level. It's about NBA level, and we're missing out on some things here. Something ain't going on. Now, last Sunday's game benefited from, the lead-in that they had, in which about 26.1 million watched the Jets upset the Philadelphia Eagles. So just for a compare and contrast type of scenario there. Jose Altuve, by the way, in his 100th playoff game, sparked the Astros to a Game 4 win. The Stros beat the Texas Rangers 10-3, and now all of a sudden, the home field advantage doesn't even matter. You got to be a road team in order to win a game in that series. And Altuve became the 7th player in MLB history to play in 100 career postseason games last night. So how about that? That's pretty cool. Good for him. That's a hell of a statistic. And it's pretty, and Altuve for the size and stature, and sure, I mean, they had the scandal with the buzzers and everything else. A 10-3 drubbing in Game 4 of Globe Life Park. Alex Bregman, Yordan Alvarez, Jose Abreu combined to drive in 8 runs from the middle of the lineup. But also saw Altuve kind of set the tone of this ballgame as well, with 3 hits from the top. And, he plays with that spark. If he gets going, that's all you need. Jose Altuve, all 5 feet, 4 inches of him, flying around out there. Very motivational. All right, we'll step aside when we return. Oh, by the way, I should mention this. Series tied at 2 between Houston and Texas. Phillies, they lead Arizona 2-1. Back after this.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Bean Garter, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Bean Garter here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Dorn Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Bean Garter. Easiest way, you can call Bean Garter, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BENEGARTR.com, or look for Bean Garter, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
And now to the chopper for our traffic report.
There's a lot of traffic. It must be headed to Meijer for the Buy 5, Save $5 sale. Shop Deli Fresher Carving Board Lunch Meat, General Mills Family Size Cereal, and Pepperidge Farm Goldfish. All Buy 5, Save $5. Mix or match at Meijer.
Okay.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. A reminder, maybe you got in on the action a little bit last night. Maybe you had the Jags last night on the road. Well, the Saints offense, they really struggled early on in that football game. They just got to stop settling for field goals. That's what it comes down to. They have to stop settling for 3 points. Either way, maybe you got in on the action of the DraftKings Sportsbook where you bet just $5 on any game. Score $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings isn't stopping there either, folks. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day in October. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. New customers can score $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on the NFL. That's promo code HUGE only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. All right, folks, phone line's open. Text line is open. When trailing by 14 points, by the way, entering the fourth quarter, the New Orleans Saints are 0-158 in team history. So if they're down 2 touchdowns and entering the fourth, that game is a wrap. Just so you know. If you want some live action there on DraftKings. All right, that's Ben and Ryan. Text us using the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Or call us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 866-838-4843. That's 866-838-4843. You can dial us there. All right, here's the deal. I'm gonna read you this article here, and we're all gonna disseminate and decide what we want to do with this. Now, I don't like the initial first portion here. Low level. I don't like that. This guy is a retired captain in the United States Marine Corps. ESPN, have some respect. Just call him a staffer. You have to say there's no reason to say low level here and throw some immediate shade at Mr. Stallions. He's done real life reconnaissance, not this fake mumble jumble, alleged sign stealing shenanigans. He's done actual recon as a captain. So a low-level staffer with a military background has emerged as one of the linchpins in the NCAA investigation into Michigan's alleged sign-stealing operations, according to sources telling ESPN this yesterday. I'm telling you can't. What an opening line there from Pete Thamel and Mark Schlabach. What incredible. It was funny because I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago. Somebody was talking about Adrian Wojnarowski and Shams on the NBA. Like, they are the storytellers of the NBA. And whatever the NBA drama is going to be, they are responsible for, who's going where. And Shams and Woj are responsible for the narrative surrounding specific players and teams because of their reporting, right? That's what was said last week. I'm like, okay, all right. I just, if there's a trade, I retweet it. Outside of that, Shams said this guy was in the bathroom. Like, I don't care about that. It doesn't bother me. Is that where we're at with an opening line like this of this story? Quote, a low-level staffer with a military background has emerged as one of the linchpins in an NCAA investigation into Michigan's alleged sign-stealing operation. That's pretty impressive. Connor Stallions, who is a football analyst with the Wolverines, retired captain of the Marine Corps, and is also the person of interest for the number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines, who violated an NCAA rule by scouting future opponents in person at games. The NCAA has prohibited such scouting since 1994. Really? But anybody else can go there and scout. You ever been in a college press box before? There is probably, if you have a good team, there's probably anywhere between 10 and 20 different scouts at any particular game. Any particular game is going to have that. Like, as long as you have some talent out there. Like, we'll get 10 scouts at Toledo on for any given game. Like, that's just like they come, they show up. So sources say that this NCAA enforcement staff's level of interest in Stalions is so significant, it sought to access his computer as a part of the investigation. Sources indicated that the process is underway, although it's uncertain what investigators will find. How many sources do we have here? Because I've said it at least 3 times. Attempts made by the four-letter network to reach Mr. Stalions were not returned. Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel did not return a request-seeking comment. This source has told ESPN that the Wolverines have used an elaborate scouting system to steal signals from future opponents since at least 2021. With the ongoing NCAA investigation into Michigan recruiting and head coach Jim Harbaugh potentially facing additional penalties there, this separate investigation could significantly increase his exposure to an additional suspension. In a statement Thursday, Harbaugh denied any knowledge or involvement of the alleged scheme to steal said signs. Harbaugh said he would fully cooperate with the investigation, doesn't condone or tolerate anyone doing anything illegal or against NCAA rules. I don't have any knowledge or information regarding the Michigan football program illegally stealing signals, nor have I directed any staff member or others to participate in off-campus scouting assignments. The allegations are proven to be true. Michigan would have violated NCAA bylaw 11.6.1, which states off-campus in-person of scouting of future opponents in the same season is prohibited. All right, do you care? What are we? Are you worked up over it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you taking it serious? Is this a throwaway to you? I need to know from you, the people, so I know which direction to go next. That's what it is. One texter says, I think everyone should slow down on Michigan until the facts come out, and probably when Harbaugh takes the Bears job. Why would you take the Bears job? Why would you take that job there? With that ownership group right now, they don't even know where they're going to be playing next year. Not a chance. No offensive line. Probably going to need a new quarterback. Absolute dumpster fire of an organization. Beautiful to watch it go down in flames. No, thank you. At least me, if I was advising him. So those are the allegations. That's literally the story. I read that story to you verbatim from ESPN.com. NCAA bylaw 11.1.2.1. A head coach is presumed to have knowledge of what is occurring in his program and therefore can be responsible for the actions of his staff and individuals associated with the program. 100%. I don't believe him one bit here. If there really is a scouting thing going on, there's no way he wouldn't know, right? This isn't like I was born at night, but it wasn't last night. But to be honest with you, I can't say that I don't care because it is against the rules. And the rules are written out, and this isn't something new. Like, this is since 1994, everybody's been allegedly playing by the same rules. So I can't necessarily say that I don't care because it is a rule violation. And this comes after a summer with a rule violation. Now, I've already seen it on ESPN this morning. The four-letter network has already had their own, where they do like the side kind of pan with one of their anchors. They have the big backdrop in the bottom third. It's like Michigan under investigation. They will ride with this, people. Rivalry week going into Michigan State, they are going to talk about this. People are going to galvanize around this with a fresh batch of disrespect. It is going. ESPN's already going to be on it. This gives Paul Feinbaum. They filled an hour of Paul Feinbaum's show at minimum. And so I look at this. That's all. I want you to look at the coverage of this. That's what I want you to do. I don't care if you love it or hate it. If you're happy to see it and you think Jim Harbaugh is a super cheater, watch every second of it. If you're a Michigan fan, you're like, this guy can't do any wrong. I would have stolen the signals for him. and put them in his lunch pail with a note, then that's fine too. What I want you to do is if you know the story, you don't even necessarily have to pay attention to what they're reporting on, but I want you to be keenly aware of how often they'll show this this segment or they'll talk about this report on ESPN. Because much like how the current media works today, if it bleeds, it leads. Everybody who's ever worked in news knows that. That's the slogan. If it bleeds, it leads. So if you got a homicide, you've got some sort of assault, some sort of something like that, that's going to be the lead of your news right there, because that's what sells. Then we realized that what will also sell will be extreme coverage one way or another, in which news networks completely punt on the idea of being actual journalists, bend the knee to their corporate partners, and then report news that is so leaning one direction, doesn't matter, left or right, they're both guilty of this, and will create a political frenzy in which news networks will cover everything about one person and not touch anything of another. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to go into further detail. Watch how ESPN will cover this. Whether you agree with Jim Harbaugh or not, whether you care about it or not, because it is a rule violation, so I have to stand by the fact that I just said that because it is a rule violation and it's not a new rule, it's something that's been around, I have to care. Outside of that, literally outside of that, I couldn't give a flying F. I mean, this article by ESPN has almost reached, I need to know the word count. I don't know if I can get a word count on this, but I'd like to. If I could get a word count on this, I would like to compare it to their first initial story of another coach in Michigan who has since been dismissed. Not for the sake of who's worse and who did what. I just want to know. I just want to look at how it's covered. That's all. Because I read about this stuff all the time. And I hear from Michigan State fans that are very upset. And it's like, no, the disrespect thing, right? When's the rivalry gonna? It's never over. It's never gonna be over, right, Coach D? It's fine. It's not Michigan's fault the way that they are covered. You know, I looked at Sandwich Gate, Sandwich Spread, Burger Gate, whatever the hell that was this summer, cheeseburger thing, recruiting violation, saga, and the way that ESPN covered that day after day after day, not only on SportsCenter, but also within Paul Feinbaum's show. And then I was waiting after alleged sexual misconduct, trying to compare apples to oranges here. Because there's no way. I mean, if they did that over cheeseburgers, you got a $90 million coach that just got canned because he's trying to get busy with a sexual assault victim who now we know, right? Now it's all out. So I feel kind of sleazy even saying that. But a vendor to the school who's obviously going after the paycheck, but whatever. I don't even want to go that route before somebody yells at me about, I can't believe you'd say that about Brenda Tracy. Like, I can't believe Brenda Tracy would say the things that she's been saying. And then went to go to her dead friend's house to go wipe that lady's phone. This is why the whole time I said the guy can be an idiot, but I need to see what she said. I need to see it because it makes sense. Now it all makes sense. I'm not even mad at Mel Tucker. Yo, you can't do that. Well, you did. You did. We're all adults here. Act like it. We're all adults. If he wants to have an affair, he can have an affair. What do I care? What's the difference? Well, his wife's estranged. Okay. She live in the same house? Yes, no, maybe so. Maybe she's got boyfriends. We don't know anything about her. I wouldn't be able to pick her out of a lineup. Wouldn't know if she came and slapped me in the face. Let him do his thing. It just so happens it looks bad because this woman, was on campus for a completely separate event, but then we know she's done this before with Mighty Mouse. So the point of me bringing that up is to compare the apples and the oranges of how that was covered by ESPN, the four-letter network, and how this story will be covered. Just keep your eyes peeled. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Just keep your eyes peeled. It's like, you won't realize it unless it's a red car thing, right? So if you're driving around and you're driving to work today, and I'm like, hey, how many red cars did you see? If this is the first time you and I were discussing, I'll ask Ben. Ben will know. Hey Ben, how long is your commute to work today?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. How many red cars did you see on your way to work today?
That I don't know. It was pretty dark.
If I said I'll give you $1 million per red car,
yeah,
do you think that you would have a better idea?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow's a bad example because that's Saturday. So Monday, I'll give you $1 million if you can tell me exactly how many red cars you saw on the way to work.
Okay.
Right? And now you're hyper focused on it.
Right, of course.
They say the same thing about opportunity. So if you're not out there looking for it, you're going to miss it. A lot of times it just kicks you right in the junk. And it's like, hey, here's an opportunity, and people are like, oh, well, I wasn't paying attention. Didn't see it. Didn't see the red car. Here's the red car for the day. The red car for the day is how do ESPN, and I'm going to focus on them because a majority of our listeners are going to watch and consume some sort of ESPN programming if you're a sports fan at some point throughout the day. Fox Sports does not have their own branded highlight show. They just have their debate programs. Fox Sports needs a highlight show. I watch the CBS Sports HQ that streams. I think that might be the best. That might be the best morning show out there right now. I'd never even heard of this before. I saw it on Roku because all they do is score, stats, and stories, and they roll through it. It's like old school Sports Center, but it's right there. They show you the highlights. They got a live report from somewhere. They give you a box score. Like, what else do you need? That's what I grew up on. That's what I want. That's why I gravitate to it. I don't need Screaming A. Smith and Paul Feinbaum yelling at me all day. But I will still have ESPN on somewhere. So as ESPN has done really well on television, they've really taken a step back in the sports radio realm. But here we have your red car for the day is if you consume a Sports Center, or if you're online and you watch or you visit any sort of sports website, I want you to take a look to see where they place the Michigan storyline. Is it on the front page? Is it the lead for one of the television programs? Is it heavily discussed? It's going to be discussed here. It's going to be discussed on other radio shows throughout the state. Doesn't matter what radio station you live to. Like, it's important news. We have to talk about it. How do the national entities cover this? So here's your red car. Michigan scouting scandal. That's our red car. We're going to look for it, keep our eyes peeled, and then what I want you to do is I want you to think back to see how the Tucker saga was covered. Because if you're talking severity, one is much more severe than the other, right? But one will probably get a little bit more run. And that's where the disrespect comes in, even though it's has nothing to do with, it's not our fault. We'll step aside. Hour 2 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Shop early holiday deals this week at Meijer. Deals like a Vizio 50-inch smart TV for just $249.99. Get 50% off Olympia luggage and 40% off Mr. Coffee coffee makers. Plus, save $10 on next week's in-store purchase when you spend $100 or more on your total purchase today. Then redeem your $10 coupon through October 28th. Start shopping early holiday deals to save now and next week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
Huge here for my friends from Coppercraft Distillery. Now, they're a Michigan-based company, and they have a message for anybody 21 and up. You're going to want to get hooked up with this Honolulu Blue, a premium can cocktail. Vodka, blue raspberry lemonade. This special limited edition canned cocktail is available at local stores, pubs, and restaurants. And when you're cheering on our favorite pro football team, TDs, tailgates, and more, make sure you grab a Honolulu Blue from Coppercraft Distillery.
Merc Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merc Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. Travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cashback rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merc Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merc is here. Learn more at mymercperks.com, member FDIC.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show. Broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Well, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on.
I think we got double play there.
Yeah.
All right, man, that is intense. I was like, yo, everybody's yelling at me right now. That is nutty. Hey, welcome back here. Hour number 2 of X's and Bros on a Friday. It's a feel-good Friday. What are you feeling good about? You can call us and tell us at any time. Could be sports-related, could not be sports-related, but why not? It's one of my all-time, that actually, Feel-Good Friday comes from Rude Jude and Lord Sear back in the day on Sirius XM Shade 45. Jude Angelini is the host of the show. They have a Feel Good Friday. People literally just call and tell them what they feel good about. I just got a raise. I just got paid. I did whatever the case may be. Like I just picked up my kids. Like it could be anything. Whatever you're feeling good about, Feel Good Friday. I was like, I love Feel Good Friday. This is great. People just randomly calling in. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 866-838-4843. 866-838-4843. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience as well. On both BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Added.com to that to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Ben Glaze is at the Ben Glaze. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Tough night last night. You got a tight end that ball hits him directly in the hands and doesn't come down with the catch. And the poor guy, I love the fact that his teammates in New Orleans, that bench was really good coming over to him and trying to console and take care of him because, he cost him a game, and that's really tough. Is Ryan still on hold, Ben?
Yes, he is.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was there because I was on a different page outside of the rundown, and I was like, man, that might be from earlier. And then, but no, Ryan, welcome back to the show, brother. How are you?
I'm good. It's almost like there was like a wall, between me and getting on air. I don't know if it was like.
What color?
You were looking for red cars. Like this might have been a blue wall.
Oh, bing bong.
Listen, I mean the blue wall's been working hard this week, keeping me off the air for Michigan State week. They're working harder than the little blue pill works on the Golden Bachelor, But then another story arose, and they had to go take care of something else, and then I hear you in the last segment. You start reading the story, and then all of a sudden it's deflection. Let's not talk about the story. Talk about poor Michigan. Oh, my goodness. We keep getting caught breaking rules. Why do people keep yelling at us? Why? Like, what's wrong? It's like you're trying to gaslight reporter. It's like you're just like,
gaslight?
Why is my girlfriend yelling at me? It's like, why is my girlfriend yelling at me? All I did was go on 3 other dates with other girls this week. Like, she was busy.
I most certainly did not. How dare you throw these allegations out at me on a Friday? It's Feel Good Friday, man. You're coming out with these allegations. But you do raise a good point. You do, because that is exactly the way that I approached this investigation of Michigan. And as I wrote in the rundown, in parentheses, Michigan, is it cheating again? Have they been caught with another rules violation that will stain? And my man Justin Riggs listening to us right now on 96.1 The Game, flagship station out there in GR, already sent me a DM. He's like, look at this, top story. I said, see? Like, thank you. And I appreciate you. Listen, obviously.
The top headline.
The top
one. I went on ESPN.com. Yeah, the top headline. No picture. It's not the big picture when you go on ESPN, because that spot's taken by the golf tournament happening in Japan at the moment. But it is the top headline. But it's one of these things. If you don't want unfair coverage, stop breaking the rules. Like Harbaugh likes to flirt with these rules.
Oh, he does.
Guess what? I know a little something about a coach flirting when it's unwanted.
Well, that sounds like it was mutual. Could the rules flirt back with Jim Harbaugh? Did the rules send any sort of text message with Jim Harbaugh that said, "Hey, come on over here"?
It sounds like it's like, hey, there's a little flirt back, then all of a sudden, like, you know what? I don't like this anymore. Don't do this.
If I say that portion, I could get paid. You know what I mean? I could make out on this whole deal. This actually isn't a bad. How much money do you have over there? I will tell you this, from the Michigan standpoint, and let me crank the wheel here that actually lowers the blue wall down. Right, this is like a wall, like a drawbridge kind of. You know, the drawbridge is up. If you're driving around in Charlevoix right now, you know the bridge that separates Lake Michigan, then the canal that goes into Round Lake that goes into Lake Charlevoix. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about if you've been up there. Edgewater Inn, shout out to those folks. Acorn Cafe, love that place. But when the drawbridge goes up, big wall.
You know about it.
Exactly. If the drawbridge goes up, it looks like a giant wall. You can't drive into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower that wall. I'm going to crank the thing, and the drawbridge is going to go down so we can get back and forth across, slap hands both ways. If this is true, it is no different than like Bill Self or like Rick Pitino or any other coach that's been caught up in some sort of violation that went, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? There's always that, I had no idea. Like, yes, you had to know. And if you didn't know, then there's an issue. There might be a bigger issue if you didn't know what was going on. Because I still want to know what went on with the cybercrimes scandal. Like, whatever happened there with the emails.
Because in the ESPN article, it says they had to take computers. And what was the whole part of the Matt Weiss thing is that, I mean, granted, that was like police that went and took his computers, but like, is that connected somehow? Are these cyber crimes connected?
What we need is someone in IT that can make sure that this stuff doesn't get found out. Like, we need somebody in IT to get in there and say, you know what, we're not going to allow anybody. Like, the minute somebody, like, there's a button you hit, like power and escape and like F4, you hit all three together and your computer just poof, just turns to dust, right? Just wipe it clean.
Listen, IT people have enough work on their hands of dealing with idiots not knowing how to use computers.
Shout out to Albert. That's our guy. We love him. Love him on the show.
Like, they have enough problems. Like, they're trying to tell people how to just exit an internet browser. And they're like, well, now it's on fire. Like, thanks a lot.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. That much is for sure. I do, like anything else, I want to read more and see more about like what was going on when this whole thing comes out.
Well,
because
Anthony, if you're reading more, then that's just feeding into your narrative.
Well, no, I'm going to have to.
They're covering us too much. They're covering our scandals too much.
Well, they have to. When you're one of the biggest brands in all of sport. I mean, it's like Manchester United, the Yankees, and Michigan. When you're up there in that upper echelon of greatness and of brand size, the Dallas Cowboys, exactly. Dak Prescott, that poor guy.
Block M hat to the scumbag fan starter pack. Is that what you're saying? Duke basketball, Michigan football, Yankees, Lakers. Are you saying Michigan needs to be added to that group? Because that's what he started insinuating.
I refuse to be baited into this morning at 10 after 7 on a Friday. I refuse to be slandered like this.
What happens when you put the drawbridge down? The little troll comes up and starts crawling across.
I do need to get out. I need to get on Twitter. Freddie was saying something a couple weeks ago, and I sent him a gif of the what were the little trolls with like the pink hair, and I just sent him a gif of that Oh, he was so bad. All right, we're going to step aside when we return. We had Detroit basketball last night. Let's talk about what took place here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Watch out for the trolls.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for pumpkin coin toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com. Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
just wanna close our eyes and sweat.
If you know this song, you know exactly why I played it then. You know exactly why. If you've ever heard the song These Walls by Kendrick Lamar. If these walls could talk. This blue wall isn't talking over here now, is it, Mr. Troll Ryan, huh? Oh, it's a great, what a great beat, too, by the way. Sensational Kendrick Lamar. Brilliant mind. Absolute brilliant mind. We're going to keep the blue wall up. Keep it going, folks. Got a couple of texts here. Michigan 70, MSU 3, then MSU will burn their own campus down. Oh, boy. I saw 10 2016 Ohio State National Championship stickers on the way to work. How was the Dr. Anderson scandal covered, or was it covered? It was not, in my opinion. No, it was not. The only doctor that really got extensive coverage was Larry Nassar. And the story before that was the Penn State Jerry Sandusky. Because it went Sandusky to Nassar, and then the other Big Ten doctors that might have been involved or were involved in such allegations and scandals, like that, none of that was ever covered. Like it was like, hey, there's an investigation going on, and then poof, that was it. So I could understand why, like, people down at OSU, even people at Michigan, would be upset over that, and people at other Big Ten institutions as well. I am a firm believer that the Jerry Sandusky scandal actually killed Joe Paterno. Stress, we know that stress is one of the most difficult things for humans to deal with. And when you have that level of stress, it has a negative effect on your health. We know this. We have the data to back up this claim. So, if you're feeling stressed out, like, it's not just, and for those that perform well under stress, like those are the type of, like, tier 1 type A individuals that, when you perform well under stress, I'm talking really, like, real stress, not like, oh, I got a deadline for whatever. I'm talking like people that are making very important decisions in split seconds, typically, military oriented. Like those people that perform well under those conditions, like, those are tier 1 type A humans right there. That I wouldn't want to run into one of those guys, tell you that much. Golf season's here. I'd like to run over to Matt Golden, tell you that, tell him to take his blue wall down. And let me out there, Matt. Get me out there. Tullymore and St. Ives, 2 great courses, 2 championship courses, located in Canadian Lakes, Michigan, smack dab in the middle of the state, so it's easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. All you need to do is pick up the phone right now and call Matt, 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Like I said, in Canadian Lakes, so you can make a day trip out of it, or if you want to stay, you can stay right there on the grounds. They have the lodging. They have everything you need right there at the beautiful Tullymore Golf Resort, TullymoreGolf.com. All right, what do we got going on? I see the sheet moving around a little bit. Thanks, Anthony. You the man. Keep speaking the truth. That's the truth. Yeah, look, you got to, fair and honest. If that's my claim, I got to be fair and honest about it. I might find it funny, but I got to be fair and honest about it. And that's, like there have been a plethora of stories that it went Sandusky, Nassar, and then we heard other rumblings from other doctors at other universities, and nobody said a word. You'd have like one article pop up like on M Live, and then that was it. And I was like, wait, well, wait a minute. And when it comes to stories of that nature, that's not something that you'd point the finger at and laugh at anyways. For 2 reasons. One, especially here, because we're on radio, we can't see our audience. We have no idea who's out there. I can't gauge, when talking about a topic, what the facial expression is going to give me in return as far as nonverbal communication, and how to potentially identify a topic that is so sensitive in nature that it could trigger someone and send them back in time. I don't want to do that, right? This is a family-friendly show. We're having a great time. It's a Feel Good Friday. We want to feel good about stuff. But the other reason you don't poke fun at something like that is, one, like, that ruins people's lives. We could joke around about cheeseburgers. I'm fine with that. You want to joke around about Tattoo Gate? That's fine. Urban Meyer? That's fine. But some topics are off limits to point the finger at. And at that point, it's like, all right, like, you guys got to get your ducks in a row. Wait, did it happen here too? Who do we need to talk about? And that's where I feel like that ball was dropped. The difference between Sandusky and Nassar compared to Ohio State and Michigan doctor scandals. Drastic differences. Drastic. I mean, Jerry Sandusky, I was in Kalamazoo when that story broke, and I told Gian, it would have been like, what, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. I told Gian, I said, this will kill that old man. He's like, what? I was like, Joe Paterno will not survive. There's no way at his age he could take this. When they went and they got that statue down, looked like Saddam in Iraq. They pulled that statue down. That was it. That was it. You're not, at that age, you can't withstand that. That's way, way, way too much. And just is what it is. Sandusky and Nassar were caught and alive during it all. The doctors at Michigan, Ohio State had already passed. People in charge were long gone from the university. That plays a role in it too, right? So who's active and who's not. But still, it doesn't mean that we can't not have legitimate conversations, right? We still have to be open to the idea that, hey, wait a minute now. We have a statue of a guy out front in a building named after him. Do we need to reassess our stance on this? Is there anything to substantiate, said claims? Hargate is just another annoying thing to try to push Jim to the NFL, since they see he's going to run the Big Ten for years to come if they don't. That might be a little tinfoil hattish there. That might be a little extreme. And as somebody who regularly puts his tinfoil hat on, I know it when I see it, because if I'm doing it, I get it. I go deep down the rabbit hole of the internet. I don't think that this is that. I do think, however, when I brought up the Adrian Wojnarowski and Shams Charania, the way that they were talked about on the internet the other day, and I forget who it was, but they just said, look, these guys are the storytellers. That's what they are. Like, they've gotten to a point now where the NBA is fueled by drama almost more than it is the actual product on the floor, which I think is preposterous. Like, give me the games over what, Kevin Durant, James Harden are having for breakfast. But that's me. And they know that with the drama brings the ratings, and the NBA might be the best soap opera on television right now. It's getting up there with college football. College football is getting up there because of some of the interactions we've had with coaches and players and teams and everything else. Like, it's pretty fun. But yeah, I don't think that this is some sort of grand scheme to get Jim Harbaugh to the NFL. I don't even really, to be honest with you, I don't even think about Jim Harbaugh to the NFL. If he wanted to leave tomorrow and go, it wouldn't bother me. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I know it's been brought up because people think like, oh my God, if Harbaugh leaves, you have to do a coaching search. Good luck. Good luck. Hopefully you can find somebody that's had some success. We are a 1 win away. We, obviously, because I speak French, we are 1 win away from sending Ryan Day packing. He loses this weekend. I thought Jake Butt yesterday was sensational because, as I brought up the pressure on James Franklin, he's right. The pressure really is on Ryan Day. I just try not to say that too much because then I sound like a Michigan slap, and I don't ever want to be that. But, yeah, both coaches, that seat is hot, and it's burning hotter for Ryan Day for exactly what he said. If they lose to Penn State, then a majority of the fan base is going to believe that he's already going to lose later on in the season to Michigan. You lose to Penn State at home, big noon kickoff? No. I got Buckeyes by 14. Buckeyes by 14. You want to know why? Because statistically, everybody has a great defense till they play somebody. And then when you play somebody, you realize that, oh, wait a minute, maybe our defense, that we didn't have a good day, or maybe we're not that good. Maybe that could be what it is. Could be what it is. We have the best culture in the game. The boys love to play for Michigan. Yeah, no, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think that when it comes to that, when it comes to actual the culture of college football and where your athletes and your young people are at, especially in the NIL era, you got guys giving up their own numbers to, for the betterment of the team. That speaks volumes. It honestly does. And it will draw some kids to that, and it will shun some kids away that want to go, quote unquote, get theirs. And there's other programs out there that will offer that to them. So you gotta really fit the right person and the right persona within your program. All right, we're gonna step aside. I promise we're gonna get to the Pistons. Plus, we're gonna take a look ahead at the weekend ahead. That's next here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Dorn Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Dorn Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Dorn Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
And now to the chopper for our traffic report.
There's a lot of traffic. It must be headed to Meijer for the Buy 5, Save $5 sale. Shop Deli Fresher Carving Board Lunch Meat, General Mills Family Size Cereal, and Pepperidge Farm Goldfish. All Buy 5, Save $5. Mix or match at Meijer.
Okay.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTab at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Hopefully you lucked out a little bit last night with the Jaguars and Saints game over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Did you know you can bet $5 on any game this weekend, score $200 in bonus bets instantly? DraftKings isn't stopping there, folks. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Get in on all the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code HUGE. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on the NFL. That's promo code HUGE only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Easy for me to say sometimes. A lot of jargon there in the disclaimer, so you got to give me some grace here, would you? All right, the old gym coach on Twitter sends me a message, said the NCAA, where you're guilty until proven innocent. Nothing should be released from the NCAA to the media until everything is investigated and a punishment is coming down. What if everything Michigan has done with the scouting and watching tape, whatever is legal, but now they've notified other teams that Michigan knows what your plays are? Maybe they're good at scouting. Maybe they're good at in-game adjustments. I don't trust the NCAA at Kansas can do what they want in basketball, Tennessee, and football. Jim Harbaugh talks about profit sharing with athletes, and all of a sudden he's got 2 investigations on him. Yeah, look, not once again, not to go too tinfoil hat, but he was very outspoken about how players should be compensated. We know that would affect some of the money that's going around, and I get that would be of concern. So could it be a little bit of a proverbial witch hunt? Maybe. But then again, if you are employing a former United States Marine captain and he's out there picking up signs. I mean, I love the tents, the signboards. I like the big things that Indiana brought with them. The Hoosiers, they had these giant curtains, Freddie's on the line. Wants to talk about the Lions. Good morning, Freddie. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I told him to wait. I want him to set up your segment first.
Oh, no.
I know you like.
No, I like to get you in as quickly as possible because I know you sometimes got a lot to say. I want to make sure you get your time, Freddie.
That's real nice. That's real nice.
You're welcome.
Customer service at its best.
That's what I'm talking about.
You come over there.
Yeah, you come on the show. You get a free pound of sausage.
Oh, okay, right. Hey, first of all, good morning, everyone. And I will tell you, if you're picking the Ravens, turn up your radio, go listen elsewhere. I will tell you that right now because I got a lot to say. So if you are picking the Ravens, turn up your radio, go listen elsewhere. We don't want you. Well, Anthony don't want you. Second of all, I got to shout out to Rocky, one of your loyal listeners. Shout out to Rocky. I mean, these people, they reach out to me and they want me to give you HELL. They want me to give you hell about this whole thing. It's unbelievable. So
wait, the people were telling you to give me hell about Jim Harbaugh in Scoutgate?
Yeah, because I said you got to be fair. We got to let the facts come out first. You can't prosecute somebody till the facts come out, right? I think that's fair. Can't let Twitter prosecute somebody. Not nowadays. You got to give it time. They got to let it breathe, right? That's what they say in the business. Let it breathe.
Yeah, too often that happens. I mean, something gets out there, Twitter gets a hold of it, and then people start making decisions and firing people over what? Backlash on the internet from a bunch of trolls? Is that what we're worried about? That's what it's. It's sad, actually.
But you could look at history. History does give you a little bit of insight. What's really going on. I mean, history. Jim Harbaugh. A little bit of history. But first of all, before I get to the Lions, now yesterday I called in with a prediction. I'm going to stand by it. Michigan 35, Michigan State 33. Now I will tell you, after this news, I think Michigan might put up a little bit more now, maybe. But I'm going to be a man of my word. I'm going to stick with 35-33 Michigan. But there is a good chance now that Michigan may roll it up because somebody maybe said something. Maybe the Rutgers head coach, maybe Ryan Day. Who knows who could have been,
That'll be a fun wrinkle in the story too, like where it comes from, like who came out with it. That'll be a fun wrinkle. Like who is the source? That's what I want to know.
But you can't rule out. It could be somebody in house too. You never know because he's not well liked. I mean, you got to be honest about that. He's not well liked, but it could be somebody in house. You never know. Somebody might want the job. Knows he's going to the NFL. You never know. So yeah, some Michigan man. You never know. Now the Lions. 28-16 Lions. I'm going to tell you why. The Ravens haven't been home in a month. They haven't played at home. This will be the first home game in a month. They're coming home from where are they coming from? Germany, Italy. Where did they play in? They play in Italy, Germany.
No, they were in. I think Baltimore. Were they in? Yeah, I don't know. Frankfurt or London, one of the two.
Yeah. They need to play in Italy. I mean, they just played the Ryder Cup there. I know the Americans got smoked, but they need to play in Italy. Why not? Why they going everywhere else? Why not in Italy?
And the Italian Bowl came to America and played at the Glass Bowl in Toledo. Pat Gianmarco and company, big movers and shakers to get that game over here.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Let's do it.
Absolutely. So yeah, Lions 28-16, and they will be when they win Sunday. I will say this now, even though I grew up a big Dallas Cowboy fan, watching Roger Staubach and all those guys and all those Super Bowl titles, and I still am. I still am. But Lions after Sunday's win will be the new America's team. They will be new America's team. I think it's time we start talking about taking the Dallas Cowboys off Thanksgiving. And I think it should be just the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving. I really believe that. After they went on Sunday, 28-16, Detroit Lions.
Yeah, boy, that is you can't just have one game on Thanksgiving, right? You got to have at minimum two. America's
No, they should know what they should play the Lions game at 12:30 like they always do, and then play a replay at 4:30 of the Lions win, like say Kansas City. I think that's what they should do. And then 8 o'clock if they want to show another, the playoff win in 91 and 92. Yeah, I think that's what they should do. They will be a new America's team. And Michigan 35-33, Lions 28-16, and that's about it. Texas Rangers, please don't let me down. Please don't let me. We can't see Houston again. I can't. No way. No way can I see Houston again.
What if our guy?
Are you kidding me?
What if our guy Bochy what if they just flame out here? Oh, that'd be bad. It's possible.
Bad. And I don't want to see Verlander. I remember, Verlander was a good pitcher here, but when he called out the fans, I lost all respect for him. Kinsler and V-Mart and Verlander, like, if you don't like what we're doing, go find another team. I didn't forget that Verlander, so I don't want to see him win again. So I've taken up enough time in the hot air and enjoy the games this weekend.
Hey, thanks very much. Have a great weekend, Freddie. There he goes. You know what? Here, how about this for Freddie? Felt like that was a pretty rational phone call. Wasn't sure if that's what we were going to get out of him this morning. So I am pleased with that. Old Gym Coach says the source should also be revealed, and the source is not accurate. Then the source should be the one the NCAA is going after to punish him. Yeah, sure. I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, what is an NCAA investigation? Like, what is the real repercussion for an NCAA investigation? You got to sit out 3 games? Like, that. This is exactly why nobody takes them serious. Like, what are they going to do? They're not going to give you a bowl ban. They're not going to do that. Are you going to vacate a win? They're not going to do that. And even so, like, okay, and a slap on the wrist is a term used for a punishment that isn't a real punishment, right? When you tell your kids, "Don't make me stop this car," and you're in the vehicle, and you say over and over, "Don't make me stop this car," the kids aren't going to respond to that because they're like, "So what? You're not going to stop. We know you're not going to stop it. We know you're not going to do anything." So if it gets to the point you got to stop the car, then you're going to have to dole out a punishment that is worthy of them remembering. And I'm not talking about taking the iPad. Like, that should have been gone. You should have handled that immediately. This is going to be one of those that if you say anything else, I'm going to stop the car again. And you're not going to be able to sit. That's going to be the problem. You're going to be real uncomfortable. Like, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to be your parent. There's a drastic difference between the two. So if you say, NCAA, don't make me stop this car, what are you going to do about it? Bill Self was out there talking, my reputation's tarnished. Do you even know what Bill Self is up? Like, do you even know what they did? Do you have any idea what they did? No. Calipari, like, come on. Like, you could be a, what is the guy's name who flipped the motorcycle with his side piece in Arkansas? Bobby Petrino. And to go out there with a neck brace on. Like, come on. It's college athletics. You get recycled, you go to a JUCO or a lower level team, and then you pop right back up again. Everybody knows this. It's the NCAA. They don't do anything. Come on. Not worried about that. All right. Last night we had a little. Now, very interesting here. We seem to have a little bit of a divide in the Detroit basketball. What do I say? The fan base, maybe there's a little bit of a chasm here. And the chasm is between the youths and the people that have been around a little bit longer, that have seen some things. That seems to be where this great divide is at. I don't know, like Jaden Ivey shooting the ball 50%, I have no problem with. 1 for 4 from 3, that's not great. But what I have an issue with is 6 turnovers. Right? That's the stuff that's gotta calm down a little bit. Like, they're gonna have to work that out. Marcus Sasser was 5 for 12 from the field with 17 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers. So you had 10 turnovers between rookie Marcus Sasser and second-year man Jaden Ivey. That's half of your team turnovers. Like, you won a game with 20 turnovers. That in itself is kind of impressive for the most part, just because you're probably not supposed to win that many games when turning the ball over like that. You look at you out-rebounded 48-45, so you feel good about that. Guys hitting the glass. Asar Thompson, wheeling rebounder. Beef Stew in limited action, 10-4. You had Jalen Duren out there with 11-7. I love that. Cade Cunningham, 14, 6-6 on 50% from the field. Detroit basketball. In 22 minutes of action, and Killian Hayes got the start. Finished with 8 points, no rebounds, 2 assists. And here's what I'm talking about with the youths, right? Killian Hayes walks around. The youths go crazy because they were like, the French Connection, right? They get all excited about it. Let it go. Let it go. Monty Williams, and what you're seeing in the preseason, you're probably going to see for the first month of the season. Right? They haven't been able to play very many games together, folks. Like, you're going to have to develop some chemistry. And you could sit down on paper and say, we want to allocate minutes here, and here. This is how we're going to break it down. These are who's playing point, who's playing the 2, what's our small forward, how's our 4, who's our 5. I like Jalen Duren and Beef Stew. I like Jalen Duren and Marvin Bagley. I like Jalen Duren and James Wiseman. I'm fine with all that. I think that Beef Stew, like whoever's playing the 4 is the real counter. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's important. Jalen Duren is the 5. He is the center. And when he becomes not the center, then I'm going to break the glass and hit the red button. Unless it's, like, injury related. But he's too good. He's too athletic. He's too strong. I love him. He doesn't even know who I am. And I love him. And he's 20 years old. Love the guy. Like, that's my kind of guy right there. I don't need anything. I'm going to get out here. I'm going to get rebounds. I'm strong. I'm physical. I don't need shots. I'll get the rock when I get it, and I'll do my thing. I'm good with that. That's fantastic. As for Wiseman, Bagley, and Beef Stew, I'd like to see a world where all 4 of them play. This idea that it's got to be Bagley or it's Wiseman and there's nobody else. Really? There isn't? Because I see 4 guys on the roster that can play the 4 and the 5. I just don't want to play Beef Stew at the 5. That's all. I just don't want to see Isaiah Stewart get, from a size standpoint, just get outgunned around the paint. That's all. That's it. Let him play the 4. and he's been working on his shot. I don't need him to shoot 7 threes. Like, that's the other thing. Reel it in, Chief. Reel it in. Like, you're not Steph Curry. You're built like a cinder block. Let's use that size. Even though it's undersized compared to most of the people in your position, you're not like 0 for 7. Come on. That's something you got to nip that in the bud right away. Right away. We don't need 7 threes. You could shoot 4, maybe. You hit 4. If you go 4 for 4 and you want to shoot a 5th and get weird, okay. You could shoot 4 a game. And after you've hit that, fired up that 4th, if it didn't go in, and you're 0 for 4, 1 for 4, 2 for, if you're not 4 for 4, and you see a wide open 3, pass the ball. Or I'll pull you out. I'll sit you down. You can have 4. I don't want you thinking about either. It's just because I'm saying you can have 4 doesn't mean go out there and shoot 4 threes. Like, relax. What are we doing here? Those shots got to be coming from other players that can shoot. I see another 0 for 7 from 3. Guy shot 7 threes in 22 minutes. He's fired 1 3 a minute. It's crazy. Or 1 3 every 3 minutes, pardon me. Simple math, not that simple all the time. So those are a couple things that really stood out to me in last night's game. I have no problem with Wiseman and Bagley, however many minutes they're going to play. Don't force anything. Let the game come to you. You don't have to hit a specific number. You don't have to have specific averages. You just got to play good team basketball. That's all I'm asking. As for Sasser and Ivy out there together, they got to work that out. That's going to be a work in progress. If Sasser's going to be playing some minutes during the regular season, there's some little dysfunction there, and you can't have 2 guys that running around like human turnovers. You got to take care of the basketball. You have to. And if you're going to turn the ball over, then we need to have another conversation. I'm not giving up on Jaden Ivey at any stretch of the imagination. This is just something that Monty Williams is going to have to work out, and it's going to take time to figure this out. Like, they're going to have to win ugly. They are. And today's win ugly, just about everybody can score 100 points. It's a lot different than the going to work Pistons. 0-4 was a long time ago, folks. So just kind of wipe that. Don't wipe it from your memory, but don't apply it to today's game, because that's never going to happen again where teams are held under 80 points consistently. It's just not. That's just preposterous. But we're going to have to win ugly. And for the first month of the season, Monty Williams is going to be saying, okay, what pieces to this puzzle? What works? What doesn't work? Who's playing well? Who's not? How do I maximize every individual player on this roster? And then how do I find the key pieces to this puzzle that will put everybody in the best position to be successful? And how it's going to happen is there's going to be some lineup combos that are going to roll out there. And these guys are going to get, they're going to figure it out. You're going to get Bogey back, and he's going to be out there shooting. You see a little Joe Harris out there firing up a little bit. Like, Joe Harris is a professional shooter. Isaiah Stewart is not. If Joe Harris wants to go 3 for 4 from 3 every night, that's great. He's the one. He and Bogey should be shooting the threes. Period. End of discussion. Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Shop early holiday deals this week at Meijer. Deals like a Vizio 50-inch smart TV for just $249.99. Get 50% off Olympia luggage and 40% off Mr. Coffee coffee makers. Plus, save $10 on next week's in-store purchase when you spend $100 or more on your total purchase today. Then redeem your $10 coupon through October 28th. Start shopping early holiday deals to save now and next week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Merck Perks from Mercantile Bank is here. Merck Perks checking has all you need to plan your busy lifestyle. travel services for hotels, airfare, and cruises, cash back rewards, and even savings on prescriptions, eyewear, and dental work. Merck Perks also includes all the traditional benefits you love, like online and mobile banking, and fee-free access to almost 40,000 MoneyPass ATMs. So when you're ready for perks, Merck is here. Learn more at mymerckperks.com, member FDIC.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you wait long enough, the pendulum swings in the other direction. All across Michigan, police academies are filling up. In fact, new sections are being added to accommodate the brave men and women making the decision to protect and serve. The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police commends and welcomes these selfless, community-minded officers joining our ranks. We know we have more work to do, and with your help, the pendulum will swing in favor for all of Michigan.
Coming up later today at 3, huge opinions on everything I want to talk about. It's the Huge Show at 3 on the Michigan Sports Network.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny to Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 3. Cruising right along on a Feel Good Friday, the 20th day of October, 2023. Welcome back here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. So great to have you right along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. And I really mean that. I don't just say that just for the birds. It doesn't matter if you're in the southern UP, if you're on Mackinac Island, if you're in, Northport or Charlevoix, if you are in Grand Rapids, Flint, Sagnasty, Bay City, Midland, West Branch, Toledo, Monroe, Findlay, Sandusky. Doesn't matter where you're tuned in at. Grayling, Houghton Lake, doesn't matter. We really do appreciate you making us a part of your day. And I know I just hopped on the old Facebook. I don't monitor the old Facebook. I try to spend the least amount of time as possible on Facebook. It's one of those apps where, it started off like most things about technology. We've got incredible technology. The technology will never be the problem. The technology in the wrong people's hands will be the problem, right? And what I mean by that is, you look at the current state of artificial intelligence and how that's growing. You've seen a lot of top-end executives relieve themselves of their jobs because they know, like, what have we done? This is bad, right? It's been that way forever. As new advancements in technology come across, it's all about who's in control of that. That's where the real issue, it really is. And Facebook, in theory, was a good idea. It has spiraled out of control into something completely different. So I don't spend a lot of time on that. But a couple weeks ago when we had the receiver issue, because our friends over at 96.1, they were flipping. And any time that you flip anything on the radio end, there's going to be some technical glitches that take place, right? You're going to have, and they went from a programming flip, not a format flip. So there's still obviously sports radio because we're still on, but they moved from one network to the other. So for us here, and for a lot of our affiliates, it's X's and Bros, it's Dan Patrick, it's Colin Coward, it's Huge Show. Love that. I love that. But I love you, the listener. And we got a lot of messages, and I was trying to get to them yesterday because I saw I had a bunch of notifications on Facebook. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I clicked it, and I flipped the page from my personal page to the X's and Bros page, and I was trying to get back to everybody. And they're like, what's going on? And I was like, where is this coming from? I'm like, oh, that was the flip. That was the program flip from one network to the next, and that's why we weren't on that Monday. So, yeah, it's all good, but those messages are great. I love those messages because that means that you care and you listen and you like the show, which is huge. When you're in the public eye, you want to be able to put out a product that people like, that people can start, especially in morning radio, right? I mean, there's a reason I drink like 7 cups of coffee during the show. Because morning radio is all about juice. I want you to feel the energy. I want you to feel the fun that we're having when we're able to have fun. But at the same time, if we're talking about some more serious topics, like I hope that it might resonate. And it's conversation. I'm always up for conversation, even the difficult ones, because that's how all of us learn. And whether it's sports related, life related, geopolitical, whatever the case may be, we are in great shape. We're going to argue about Michigan State. We got the quarterback Brian Lewerke. He's going to join us at 8:35. Shout out to Ryan on that. We got Matt Kowalis. He's coming through at 8:17 to break down the Lions Buccaneers. I already broke that down. Lions Ravens game from the betting perspective. So that's great. And I got this message here. I got a tasty parlay which started good last night. says one unnamed texter. Jack's money line, Lions money line, Cleveland minus 2.5, plus 783. I'm feeling good, bro. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pitch that to Matt Kowalis. That does, hey, you're off to a good start. You're off to a good start. I thought, we were having a little bit of trouble last night. The Saints were getting opportunities, but the Saints, when the Saints go marching on, that song does not exist. When they get in the red zone, the Saints no longer march on. They march backwards and kick field goals. Freddie is smoking something, 35-33. Sorry, my Spartans won't get more than 10 points. That comes from Honolulu Blues Party. Yeah, it's God bless him. That's Freddie. He wants to see some pain. Can someone tell Beef Stew to stop shooting? That also comes in from Honolulu Blues Party. Yeah, look, I don't want to discourage him from shooting, but what I do want to do is discourage him from taking more than 4 threes in a game. Like, what? You're not a guard. And I'm not a believer, like, positionless basketball, it works at the NBA level because everybody's like 6'7". Like, you go walk, I'm telling you, do it one time. My buddy Jonathan just did it, sat on the glass for the Red Wings. And I got to talk to him last night. I was like, how was the game? He's like, dude. Because I had taken him to a walleye game. We weren't right on the glass. We were like 2 rows up from the glass. I was like, how was the game? He's like, it's so fast. He's like, everybody's so fast. I'm like, yeah. You got a 60-minute dead sprint up and down the ice. Like, that's all you got. And so I encourage you, if you could ever, splurge one time, even if you just take yourself, don't worry about the kids. They don't need to see that. Take the kids and go sit up in section 3,000 with the kids. That's fine. They're just happy to be there. Eat spill popcorn on themselves. You go get as close to the floor as possible and see the size of NBA teams. Everybody's huge. Everybody. I'm 6'3". I am 6 feet 3 inches tall. I would look like a child out there. I'm 6'3", 195. I'd look like a kid. You'd be like, who's a third grader running around here? Like, I'm Steph Curry's size. By the way, Steph Curry's now a +3 handicap. A +3? Andy said he's waiting for about 5 rounds that were all in the 60s to fall off his card. What? That's like pro golf level. Freddie's good at everything. I hate streaming games. I waited all week to watch the Pistons, and I couldn't because it was streaming. Worst decision to make is to not let the fans watch the game. Rant over. Nate on YouTube. Nate, you know where I'm at, baby. You know where I'm at. Oh, my God. Dave in Hudsonville's on the line. Let's get to Dave real quick. Dave, good morning to you. Dave, where have you been?
Anthony, I've had to take a sabbatical.
Did you leave us?
I didn't leave you. I stepped away a little bit because I was going down that rabbit hole a bit, and I needed to step away.
I understand.
You know how that goes sometimes. Sometimes you have to clean it off. Sometimes you play too much golf, and then you have winter to come along to remind you how much you enjoy golf, or you do other things. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you been, man?
I've been well. I'm glad to hear your voice because I was ready to do a wellness check. I was getting ready to get in my car and drive to Hudsonville and just yell Dave out the window just to see.
I appreciate it, man. I've missed you. I've started to listen a bit more and so forth, and I appreciate it. So I've missed it, and I'm gonna challenge one of your takes.
Okay.
And I'm not going to do it via Michigan or Michigan State. As the Spartans, as we clean up our backyard with the coaching situation, and obviously another thing is on your plate or whatever. I'm going to go leave that to the side. Michigan should win the game handily. Saturday, based on what all data and statistics says. Hopefully, we can shorten the game and make it a competitive game. So we'll see what happens there. But one of the things I thought was interesting that you said when Freddie was done calling, and I don't disagree with you that what does it matter for the NCAA, or the NCAA doesn't have any juice anymore, or whatever it may be. I don't disagree with you there. But one of the things, too, is, like you brought up Bobby Petrino. Who wants to be Bobby Petrino?
Not me.
No matter who wants to be. That's what I mean. And the point of all of this is, no matter who it is, whether it's Michigan State, whether it's Michigan, whether it's I don't care where it happens, because it happens around at different places. You have to decide who you're going to be. And I think, like you take great pride in your profession. You work your butt off. You do these things. You do it professionally. You know people probably in your profession that don't do it that way, and that cut corners, and that will kind of stab people in the back if it means stepping on people and moving up to do that.
Dave, we got to hit the break, man. We got to hit the break. I'm so sorry. I love you, Dave. Let's reconvene on Monday. We'll be right back here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go in the huddle. 1, 2, 3, top right.
DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the National Football League. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today and be sure to use the promo code HUGE for a special offer when you sign up. That's code HUGE, H-U-G-E, only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. The Detroit Lions are tied atop the league standings as one of 5 teams entering Week 7 with a 5-1 record through their first 6 games. The Lions defense held their third opponent last week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to under 50 yards rushing. They've only done that one other time in franchise history back in 1943, and they've even held 2 opponents this season without a touchdown for the first time since 1954. The Lions have produced 350 total yards of offense and 20 points in each of their first 6 games. Jared Goff and company have extended their NFL best and franchise record streak, producing 20 points or more for 15 straight. It'll be a tall task against that top 5 ranked Baltimore defense this weekend as the Lions go to take on the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, the AFC North leaders at 4-2 at 1 p.m. on Fox.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle. It's pumpkin coin toss, and you can carve out wicked premium play prizes up to $3,000. There are drawings every Friday in October from 5 to 11 p.m. and 2 lucky guests every hour toss to win up to $3,000 premium play. Be there for pumpkin coin toss, only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's F-R-E-D-I, thepizzaman.com. Or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Boy, it's a great weekend to win big over on DraftKings Sportsbook. They're hooking up new customers with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this weekend. Score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, DraftKings isn't stopping there, folks. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener offer every game day this October. Only treats, no tricks over at DraftKings. Get in on the game day greatness with DraftKings Sportsbook. Use the promo code HUGE. Promo code HUGE. Only on the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions to apply. See terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. Coming up at 8:35, the quarterback, Brian Lewerke, will join us on Paul Bunyan, the battle for Paul. But before that, we got to get to the Lions. The Lions taking on the Ravens. Who else better to break it all down? Our good buddy, Matt Kowalis. Find him on Twitter at MoneylineMatt8. Matt, my man, good Friday morning to you, partner. How are you?
Hey, Anthony. Happy Friday, as always. Coming off another Lions victory, and we got the Ravens this weekend. So a great matchup. Ready to break it down with you, as always. And going to have another best bet. We've been hot on the show lately, so ready to keep that rolling as well.
Oh, I love catching a good heater on the show, Matt. All right, here's my first question for you. From a run game perspective, I mean, we don't know really what Jahmyr Gibbs, is he going to be available? Is he not? You know, as far as David Montgomery, so they're probably going to, lean heavily on Craig Reynolds. Everybody and their mother is listed as questionable at this point. So I guess the run game, is there anything there that you like, or are we going to stay away from that and maybe go more towards Jared Goff and maybe an over on his yards? Because like we saw last week, they're going to be more dependent on throwing the football.
Yeah, Anthony, I'm not going to lie. You read my mind perfect. When I was looking at this game throughout this week and kind of breaking down some of the statistics, you take a look at Detroit and you take a look at Baltimore, and a lot of their strengths are the same on defense. You know, Detroit is top in terms of rushing yards per game against, and Baltimore is actually 9th in rushing yards per game against at this point in time. So for me, it's exactly what you said. You know, Baltimore in years past, and again this year, their strength is stopping the run, and where you can tend to beat them a little more is through the air. So like you said, what I'm expecting here is I'm expecting both teams to be able to shut down the run in this game, or at least limit it. You know, you have to stay with the run just so you can keep defenses honest. But once both teams shut down that run, I fully expect a matchup between Jared Goff and Lamar Jackson. It's going to be the quarterback who can make the bigger plays in this matchup who's going to be able to win this game. And at this point in time, I still think the Detroit Lions are the more complete team than the Baltimore Ravens. And you're giving us 3 on the road on top of that. This line could move a little bit, but at this point in time, you know, a lot of the money is already on the Lions. So I don't expect that to move. 74% of the handle is currently on Detroit, with 76% going to the Ravens. And this is over on DraftKings Sportsbook. So for me, I am still with the Detroit Lions here, the +3. The Lions have been covering spreads. They've been making everyone a ton of money. It's not time to jump that ship just yet. Going to stay with it. But this one, however, this total is at 43. If you can remember, last week we talked about that under big time. This time, I'm actually starting to like the over a little bit more. So I'm liking that over 43 in the spot, and I'm definitely liking the Detroit Lions with that +3. And once again, I think a guy who could be a factor here is going to be Josh Reynolds. You know, we talked about that receiving yards prop last week. He hit that. I think he could be in line once again.
Ooh, Josh Reynolds. You know, big Josh Reynolds program here. I feel like the conductor of the Josh Reynolds train. We're full steam ahead. So what's our number looking like for Josh Reynolds?
So Josh Reynolds right now is, once again, he's at 37.5 yards. Last week he was at 35.5. Right now he's at 37.5. So he got a little bit of a boost from last week to this, probably because he hit his number. So once again, I'm definitely liking that look of Josh Reynolds. So I think he's just one of those guys who once the play action game gets going, you know, And like we talked about, I think both teams are going to try to run the football. Not sure how successful they're going to be, but Jared Goff is at his best when he's running that play-action attack. And Josh Reynolds is one of those guys who's able to stretch the field. He's a big body, so you really just got to get it within his vicinity, and he's able to make some of those big grabs. We saw that last week where he had that one that was behind him, made a great catch. So he's making the big plays for the Detroit Lions right now, and I think he's going to keep it going.
Is there another individual player that you really like their number here as far as what they're going to be able to do from a prop betting standpoint?
You know, someone that I really do like this week from the Detroit Lions is going to be Sam Laporta. I've really liked the look of Sam Laporta, what he's been doing with Jared Goff. I think they're developing a really nice connection. And for a rookie, too, he's making a lot of plays after the catch. And that's what we're going to need in this game. We're going to need our guys to step up, make some big plays, break some tackles. And what better than big old Sam Laporta? His number is at 41.5 right now. And, again, he's just a guy that makes some plays. So I'm really liking the look of Laporta in this matchup as well.
Okay, Sam Laporta. It would be nice. I felt like last week they Jared Goff targets him a lot. He only came in with 3 catches because he did have one hit him in the hands, but outside of that, I mean, everything was just kind of like in the vicinity, but not necessarily really greatly thrown. If you know what I mean. It's like, okay, well, he's getting the targets, so he's going to come down with a couple of them. Just something was a little bit off there, and of course they got the great production out of Jameson Williams as well. Is there any reason to think anytime touchdown with J-Mo is a good idea?
Honestly, I think it's always a good idea. We're getting to that time of the year where, now especially that J-Mo's back, he's got a couple games under his belt. He is always going to be that guy where he's going to try and take the top off the defense. I think at least once or twice a game going forward, we're going to have some gadget play or something in the playbook where J-Mo is going to be stretching the field. And with the Baltimore Ravens, once again, if there is a spot that you can beat Baltimore, it's through their secondary. So they do give up some big plays, and they are a team that you can get them over the top from time to time. So for me, I like that. I do think going forward, now that J-Mo has a couple games under his belt, we absolutely have to have a couple plays every single game where it's going to be play action, maybe a gadget play, one of those plays where you hand it off to the running back, he throws it to Goff, and J-Mo's stretching down the field, So going forward, I think Dan Campbell is definitely, and Ben Johnson definitely going to have a couple of those plays where you have to stretch the field with J-Mo. So I think going forward, that is going to be a very solid bet, or an anytime touchdown for Jameson Williams.
What's our best bet this weekend, Matt Kowalis? What's the whammy? What are we swinging the sledgehammer at?
So for me this week, all right, so we have now hit 3 best bets in a row, going back to the Atlanta Falcons. Last week we had the Cincinnati Bengals. This week we are actually going with the L.A. Rams. The L.A. Rams are -3 at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I know a lot of people are probably a little worried because the Pittsburgh Steelers are coming off a bye, but I just like the look of the L.A. Rams and where they're trending right now. Now that Cooper Kupp is back with Matthew Stafford, they have Puka Nacua beside him as well. So now he's got 2 really good wideouts. They got guys like Tutu Atwell who can stretch the field. And yes, Kyron Williams is going to be missing this matchup. That is the running back for the Los Angeles Rams. But I think it's just one of those spots where you can plug and play a running back and you can still be successful. You can still get that play action attack going with Matthew Stafford. And with the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's not so much about this team. It's more about Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's just not a quarterback that I can trust at this point in time. He's very inconsistent. He seems to make that turnover at very inopportune times, and it just ends up hurting the Pittsburgh Steelers. So for me, I think the LA Rams are going to step up here at home. I think the defense is going to step up. This Steelers team, once again, they've had a ton of trouble moving the football this year. They're not very good in terms of stopping the run. They're not very good in terms of stopping the pass. Really, what they have is just T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt's potentially the best defensive player throughout the entire NFL, so they're always depending on him to make plays. I don't think it happens against the Rams, and I think the Rams are able to cover this -3 spread. I think Cooper Kupp has another big day, and I think we see Matthew Stafford just outduel Kenny Pickett completely, and again, they cover this -3 spread here.
Moneyline Matt 8 on Twitter at Moneyline Matt 8. His name is Matt Kowalis. Find him there, follow him there, read his work. Wager Talking at DraftKings. Matt, my friend, as always, it's a pleasure.
Yes, sir, Anthony. Happy Friday, everyone. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money. We're going to talk to the quarterback, Brian Lewerke, coming up next here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Bill Simonson here for my good friend Josh Garvey. Now, he is a managing shareholder at Br0's, soon to be Doran Mayhew at the end of the year. And with the merger, there is growth and a chance for you to fill an executive or other high-level finance-related roles, either at Br0 here in downtown Grand Rapids or over at the Doran Mayhew World Headquarters in Troy, or at any of their offices across the country and around the world. They have a national specialized talent pool with ideal candidates for long-term placement, ongoing support for post-placement success. So if you're looking for that next chapter in your professional career, talk to Josh Garvey and the team at Br0. Easiest way, you can call Br0, ask for Josh Garvey, or go to their website, BEENEGARTR.com, or look for Br0, soon to be Doran Mayhew, on Facebook and on Twitter.
And now to the chopper for our traffic report.
There's a lot of traffic. It must be headed to Meijer for the Buy 5, Save $5 sale. Shop Deli Fresher Carving Board Lunch Meat, General Mills Family Size Cereal, and Pepperidge Farm Goldfish. All Buy 5, Save $5. Mix or match at Meijer.
Okay.
Deals so good, you've just got to talk about them. Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org. Later today at 3, it's the Huge Show right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Miss any of today's show? Find our podcast and listen on demand on Google, Apple, Spotify, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcast. Now, back to X's and Bros with Anthony Bellino here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Golf season is coming to a close. Matt Golden and his team still ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. It's Tullymore Golf Resort. It's in Canadian Lakes, and it's offering you not one but two championship courses. Tullymore and St. Ives, located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. So it's smack dab in the middle of the state, easy to get to no matter what direction you are coming from. What you need to do right now, pick up the phone and call Matt Golden directly, 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837, or visit TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com, and book your stay and play at Tullymore today before the season runs out. That's Ben Glaze and Ryan Elke joining us on the horn right now. You might remember this guy.
And 2nd and 13 after the penalty. Lewerke running out of time. Again, escapes and heads toward the end zone. Diving. Touchdown, Spartans.
We'd like to welcome in QB1, Brian Lewerke, Michigan State alum. He's done this a few times, battling it out for Paul Bunyan. Brian, my friend, good morning to you. How are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
Good morning, man. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm in Philadelphia living now with my wife, so things going really well.
Hey, city of brotherly love. We love that for you. When you hear that highlight call, does it immediately bring you back to that individual? Do you know what individual play that was against Michigan when you're scampering into the end zone trying to break my heart there?
Of course I know that play. I always go through all of my favorite plays of all time, and I think that one's my number one on my list, just because of the importance in that game and who it was against, and that's definitely my favorite play of all time.
Now, and you've been dabbling into the media world as well with the You Are the Program podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you got brewing on over there.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. It's a You Are the Program podcast. We got it on Spotify. It's me and two of my buddies that I played football with, Dante Rosano and Tyler Higbee. They were doing it last year, and I was a guest on it a couple times. And I decided they invited me to hop on and be a full-time guy on it this year. And, we just kind of do it for fun. It keeps us caught up with Michigan State football, and it's just a lot of fun to do and, give our opinions on the team.
Has this year, because of your time there and that specific game in which, I ran the highlight from is Michigan State at 3-1 taking on the 7th-ranked Michigan Wolverines, who at the time were 4-0. When you think back to what that game meant to you in that year, 2017, and you look at where, this program is at right now, how do you kind of digest sort of the direction things have gone and how things have kind of, basically come a little bit unraveled here in 2023?
Yeah, I mean, that game back then meant a lot to us. It was my first road start against Michigan. My first start in general against Michigan, and it kind of got us onto a little bit of a run that year. That was a pretty good year for us, but there's been a lot of things that have happened this year in 2023 that kind of have been out of the players' hands that they weren't able to control. And I think as far as playing, they've done as much as they can to try and put a good product out in the field. And I think that I know there's a bunch of good leaders on that team, and they're doing a good job keeping everyone together so far.
And I'm glad you brought it up from that perspective, right? It's out of the players' control. You're coming into the season. Nobody really knows what the expectation is, right? Some people might say 8-4. Some people might say 5-7 because you play the schedule game, because we all do it because we're sickos like that. We've been deprived of football for months at a time. So the minute we get a schedule, it's everybody's foaming at the mouth, trying to figure out who's going to win and lose. Like we're out there playing. I mean, at least you were out there playing. I just say we like I speak French or I got a mouse in my pocket. But one of those guys, right? I'm gonna go out there and make some tackles. Yeah, right. But when you think about all that has happened, being outside of the players' control, how do those guys go about galvanizing anything in that tank, especially for this week? Trophy game, rivalry game, things haven't gone according to plan at all, not meeting the expectation. But at the end of the day, if they win this, I mean, does this kind of put a bow on? Like, if they win this game, they can all kind of hang their hat on that for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like this is the game definitely of all the games this year that you want to win. And I know Coach Barnett is telling him that he's been through it a couple times. And, even when you look back on the 2020 season and how that wasn't the greatest year, but we ended up beating Michigan that year, and you kind of look on that year fondly because of the fact that we did beat Michigan. So this can definitely solve a lot of problems. It's one of the best feelings in the world being able to hold Paul Bunyan and celebrate with him and celebrate with that trophy in the locker room. So I know these guys are going to give it their all, and it's an emotional game, and it's one where tensions will be running high, so I'm sure our guys will be ready.
Were you surprised when it was announced that this was going to be a night game?
A little bit. I mean, I was not surprised in a bad way. I was like, man, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be awesome. Because obviously I was a part of the first night game in the rivalry history of the game that you just showed the replay of in 2017. And I thought it's awesome that this is the first one in Spartan Stadium, first night game in Spartan Stadium against Michigan. First time wearing the black uniforms. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It should be a good time for all parties involved, and hopefully everybody's well behaved there. Cheer for your team. It's just your cousin or your neighbor over there. Don't get all goofy now. Don't get weird on us, Brian. When you see this individual match, and I got to ask you about Paul too, because I asked former Michigan Wolverine Chris Wormley about this. I'm trying to get a good gauge. How heavy is Paul Bunyan? Like how heavy is that thing? Because I mean, Paul, he looks huge.
I think, it's decently heavy. I'd say it's probably solid 20, 25 pounds.
Okay, all right.
Not too crazy, but it's definitely got some weight to it.
All right. And now when you look at this game and the quarterback play in particular for Michigan State, what did you see that stood out to you last week in comparison to the previous weeks where quarterbacking has been a little bit of an issue? And if there's anybody that knows about this, it's an actual quarterback himself.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's good to get a new face in there. In Caden Hauser, and once I went through a little bit when I was playing, is you start struggling, and you start second guessing things, and you're like, should I really throw to this guy? And you want to make the big play all at once instead of taking the short change and slowly moving the ball down the field. I thought that's kind of what Noah Kim had happened to him, is he was just trying to make stuff happen and not taking the short gains. And Caden's a fresh brain. He hasn't struggled. He hasn't had success yet. So he was just trying to go out there and play football. And I think it was good to get him out there and get some reps. And obviously, I don't think Noah Kim was playing terribly, but at some point you gotta go a different direction when you're losing 4 in a row.
And then Caden Hauser comes out, puts out that game where he's 18 of 29 against Rutgers, 133 yards. So nothing too crazy, but hey, efficient. Take what the defense gives you. Throws a couple touchdowns, doesn't turn it over. The team is up big, right? I mean, they're up 24-6 after 3 quarters of play.
Yeah.
And then 21 unanswered in the fourth, and it kind of felt like, watching that game, it's like this one ain't. It's definitely not on the offense. The last couple of weeks, it's been all these other, these other. I don't want to call them clerical errors, but because special teams, they got to be special, right? It's the third facet of the game that nobody wants to talk about. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to cover in your punt coverage. You got to be able to cover in kick coverage. You got to be able, to take care of the football. And it's like, man, they finally get things rolling, and then they just shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Special teams has to be special. And the last 2 weeks, they have been the opposite of special. And I think, this week I'd be fine with special teams not even being noticed. You're fair catching every punt. You're catching the punt and getting it off. And because the last 2 weeks we've had the punt return for a touchdown and then the fumbled punt for a touchdown, and I think some of that stuff is tough to deal with, but that's football and that's life. And I think offense and defense have played pretty solid the last 2 weeks.
How can Michigan State beat Michigan tomorrow? What's going to be the secret sauce to beat this Wolverines team that hasn't given up more than 10 points to anybody, albeit they haven't really played anybody, but the people they have played can't score on them. So how do you get the football in the end zone against this group?
That's a tough question. I think the key to the game, though, is keeping the game close by halftime. And how to score exactly, I'm not quite sure. But keeping it close at halftime and then winning the third quarter, I think, is huge. Whether you're on offense getting points on that first drive coming out of half, or if you're on defense, getting a stop, getting a 3-and-out, and getting the ball back for our offense is huge coming out of that third quarter. It kind of sets the tone for the second half and can get the momentum on our side pretty quickly.
The tunnel fracas kerfluffle from last year, we haven't really talked about it very much this week, just because I don't really think it's relevant. That was at Michigan Stadium. Spartan Stadium set up differently. Punishments were doled out. Everything's been kind of off ever since, anyways. So I haven't really spent a lot of time on that here on this program. I think I'm just more focused on the actual football, because I think that when you bring that up, it starts to foster all the reckless behavior on the internet, and I'm not really here for that. But you see all that stuff go down in the post game, and as an alum who people look to very fondly with that program, what are you kind of thinking in that moment? And then since the time has gone by, is it kind of like water under the bridge at this point for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. There's been stuff in this rivalry that have happened, pre and post game. Obviously, that's not one of the prouder moments in Michigan State history as far as that. But I think that's past us, and we can kind of look on that as not great, but hopefully we can win this Saturday.
Now, Brian, I'll tell you this. There's a Wolverines helmet on my desk here on the set. There is a Chris Webber jersey behind me, right? I'm an employee of the university, but I'm also very fair and very honest. And this next question, I'm going to ask all the honesty you got. Do you hate Michigan? Come on, do you hate them?
Yes, I do.
See, that's it.
Plain simply.
And when you go to Michigan State and you're in that recruitment process, if you could think back to then, and obviously with different coaches it's going to be a little bit different, but is this a game that is discussed when you're thinking about, hey, you know what, I'm looking at going to Michigan State, I get on campus, I get into the facility, and I'm talking to coaches, and is Michigan around in that conversation? Do they bring things to the table to kind of foster that that angst, that ill will, if you will?
Yeah, it definitely is. And I didn't really know too much about that coming from Arizona, where I went to high school. I didn't know too much about the rivalry. I took a visit to Michigan when I was in high school as well. They didn't have I forget the name of the coach they had before that, but yeah, that's definitely a point that Michigan State brings up, is like, this is a game that we want to win, and we play for when you come to Michigan State. This is our rival, and this is who we want to beat.
So, and because I believe you're from Scottsdale, if I'm not mistaken, correct? I like Scottsdale.
Yeah.
Beautiful this time of year. Beautiful all times of year, right? I mean, I like what I like about Scottsdale is like who's got natural grass and then who's got turf, right? It's like the battle in the NFL right now. Like, who's got that natural grass? Because we want to go to their house. I guarantee you that barbecue, that cookout's going to be the real deal. So when you take a look at now the evolution of the Big Ten and the introduction of 4 new programs with Washington, Oregon, USC, and UCLA going to make the jump from the West Coast and the Pac-12 to the Big Ten next year. You being a West Coast guy, do you like that? Is this a good idea?
For the Big Ten, I like it, yes. Obviously for the Pac-12, it sucks. But, I mean, it's going to be awesome being a Michigan State guy. Like, the guys on the team next year, they're going to be able to go travel to L.A. in November when it's 40 degrees and rainy in East Lansing, and it's 65 and sunny there. And obviously it's great competition. Those teams are obviously, I'm from Washington. I was born in Seattle, so I have a little bit of tie to the University of Washington, I guess, just being from up there. And I think it'll be a lot of fun for the guys, and it should be good competition as well to play those teams from the West Coast.
I mean, so from Washington, then you make your way to Arizona. So we've covered the entire length of the Pacific Coast here in the Pac-12. So I might as well, you're a quarterback. Yeah. You could see this. The Pac-12 is about as good as they have been in a long time. It's really sad that the conference is basically, I don't know if they're going to dissolve or what happens next, but they're getting great quarterback play. I mean, you look at the way that Bo Nix is playing, Michael Penix Jr., obviously Caleb Williams is probably going to be 1-1 in the upcoming draft. You look at the quarterback play out there, it has been sensational, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's easily the best conference for quarterback play this year. I mean, the Big Ten's got a couple good guys. But yeah, I think Pac-12 for sure. And it does kind of suck that they are most likely going to dissolve after this year, because this is like I think the best year they've had since like the 50s or something. They had like 6 ranked teams at one point, and that hadn't happened since a long time ago. So.
Yeah, it's a really, really bad timing on their part to try to break off and then head to the Big Ten. But I am, just as you would be excited to go get out of East Lansing in November to go play a road game 65 and sunny, I am very interested to see how everybody handles our cold weather November games when they got to come up here and play, man. That's gonna be awesome. His name is Brian Lewerke. You can find him on Twitter at BrianLewerke14. The Michigan State alum's got the podcast out right now. You Are the Program. You can find that on Twitter as well as at YATP_podcast. Guy threw for over 8,000 yards at Michigan State. He's going to be rooting hard for the Spartans tomorrow. So I got to ask you, final score prediction. What do you got for us?
Obviously, I got to go with the Spartans here. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game if Michigan State does win. So I'm going to say it's going to be 21-17 Spartans.
21-17 Spartans. Brian, my friend, thank you so much for the time this morning, partner. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on. Go green.
Well, if he says go green and then I say go blue, what do blue and green make? Do they make yellow? Is that I don't have my painter. I'm not Bob Ross over here, but I think if you mix blue and green, then you get maize. I think, not for certain. Officer Scott is he's very, very excited right now. He said, yes, we all hate Michigan. All Spartans hate Michigan. I didn't realize it was that. I mean, are you guys really that bent out of shape? Ryan, do you really hate Michigan? Or because of our relationship here, Ryan, have you grown to love us a little bit? Have you been able to put some of those feelings aside because of me over the last couple of years and realize it's not all bad? It's not all bad. The big thing for me this week and this weekend at Spartan Stadium, everybody behave yourself. If you're going to the game, act accordingly, right? We're not going to be out here like a bunch of heathens. This is not the Vikings, sailing in from Scandinavia to take on the Germanic tribes. That's not what's going on here. This is a football game. It's a rivalry game, but these are coworkers, neighbors, family members, and the like. So if you go to the game, if you want to have a beer, go right ahead. You want to rip a couple shooters of Fireball, do whatever you got to do. But let's behave ourselves and act accordingly, right? Because what we want is the rivalry to get back to 7-0, 7-0, playing for all the marbles early October. That's what we want. What we don't want the rivalry to turn into is, swinging helmets at each other in the tunnel, one year, and then the fans involved in some sort of melee the next year. If you're going to the game, you travel safely, you see something, say something, you get a ride home, behave yourself, you watch it, you have fun, you razz your buddies on Monday, everybody goes home happy. Number 2, the Detroit Lions are going to win this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens. I know Baltimore statistically has got like roughly a top 5 defense in the league right now. It doesn't matter. Jared Goff is going to out-wheel and deal Lamar Jackson, and we are going to be having a Victory Monday on Monday, and that is when we are going to reconvene right here. Same time, same place with Ben Glaze, Ryan Elke, and I'm Anthony Bellino, and we'll see you Monday from 6 to 9 all across the great state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Shop early holiday deals this week at Meijer. Deals like a Vizio 50-inch smart TV for just $249.99. Get 50% off Olympia luggage and 40% off Mr. Coffee coffee makers. Plus, save $10 on next week's in-store purchase when you spend $100 or more on your total purchase today. Then redeem your $10 coupon through October 28th. Start shopping early holiday deals to save now and next week at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Roast Umber is a farm-direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And also the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option for energy with no sugar additives. Look for it at your local retailer or at roastumber.com.
Ladies, let's go see some men. The show, Friday, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino. Come meet the men of your wicked dreams for an affordable night of laughs and maybe some mischief. Oh my. The boys are back in town. Tickets for 18 plus, just $25. On sale now at the box office and etix.com. Sexy costumes, hot dance moves. Your sensational night of fun returns. Hunks, the show, November 17th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Oh my.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Later today at 3, it's the huge show right here on the Michigan Sports